everyone, and welcome to the Old Style Hall of Fame Softball Report. Along with my good friend, the big guy, Tim Maher, I'm Matt Dosen. And Tim, for the next 1 hour, we're going to be talking about America's greatest game, that, of course, 16-inch softball.
Well, Matty, it's definitely Chicago's game, and it's unbelievable how fast the year went. But we're going to recap it here tonight on the Old Style Softball Report. Joining us tonight, we have, of course, all the champions from our great Hall of Fame Grant Park tournament. Representing the My Chauffeur Limousine bats will be Sal Malazzo. From the Class A champion, the Leprechauns, we have Kevin Veselsky. Also, the women's team, the Brat Pack, is here. Maria Federici and Rosie Geraci. We're going to have a lot of fun talking to them. The co-rec division, Tom Balick from the Juicers, who have won the tournament for the last 6 or 7 years, unfortunately hurt his back. But Debbie Cornacchia is here from Synergy. They finished in second. And also from the corporate division, from MFRI, Tony Palozzalo is here. So the whole gamut will be represented by everybody who was involved at Grant Park. And also, as a special treat, we have the Class A national champion Lemonheads here. Jimmy Grasz is here, the captain, along with tournament MVP Rich Kaczmarski. And also, fresh in from Marshalltown, Iowa, we have the major division ASA champions, Pugliese. And all the brain trusts are here for them, Stan Patek, Ron Kubiki, and Captain Jeff Berger. Well,
it's the last year of softball this century, and it went by so fast, Tim. It just seemed like we were out in Bridgeport for the Bridgeport Crush tournament that usually kicks off the softball season. And, of course, it culminated with the major nationals and the Class A nationals this past Labor Day weekend. And, again, it was some great team efforts, some great individual efforts, some great tournament play. And, of course, you ran the terrific Hall of Fame tournaments this year. And we're going to be talking about those tournaments as well as a lot of the Grant Park. And as you mentioned, the national champions. We also have some footage from the Hall of Fame tournament that took place down in Grant Park. And that's going to be a special treat for everyone here today.
Well, we're privileged to have Old Style Beer step up to the plate, Chicago's beer, and to help us, Mark Minch from Central Distributing. He's an old Leo guy. I know, Matty, you're a Carmel guy. I'm a Rita guy. We kept it in the Catholic League. But Mark Minch stepped up and when we needed it most with great sponsorship. And so we're really grateful to have him. But like you said earlier, Matt, you just can't get a weekend anymore in softball because everything's booked, whether, you know, with the tournaments are already established, like Mickey's Kickoff Classic, the Crush Classic. And then, of course, you have the great Hawthorne tournament for the A teams, followed by Forest Park, of course, and then our Hall of Fame World Series, which culminated with Wally Peck and Red Dog winning that. So guys are talking already. It's like guys are switching teams and jumping and who's playing with who. And I got calls, are there any more tournaments this year? And it's just real tough to get all the tournaments in because there's only so many weekends in the summer.
And the most amazing thing is people play this game for pride and for the love of the sport, not for the money, not for the fame, but that's why we're here today, to give everybody their little 5 minutes of fame because they deserve it. They've been playing hard all year, Tim, and we've got some great guests, but we've got to step aside for a brief moment. We'll take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to have Sal Malazzo of the My Chauffeur Bats. But before that, here's some footage from our wonderful Grant Park Hall of Fame tournament. Glenview is the originator of the Sealess magnetic drive pump. March specializes in the design and manufacturing of precision pumps for a wide range of OEM, chemical, industrial, hydronic, and solar applications. These pumps are used for refrigeration systems, photographic equipment, ice makers, aquariums, vending equipment, and garden fountains. Chances are there's a March pump that's right for you, and if not, they'll build it. March Manufacturing of Glenview. Call them at 847-729-5300. One of Chicagoland's finest supporters of 16-inch softball.
Chicago moves with My Chauffeur Limousine Service.
Home, James.
Yes, madam.
His name really is James.
For anything and everywhere in Chicagoland, My Chauffeur is your chauffeur.
And welcome back to our Old Style Hall of Fame Softball Report. Along with the big guy, Tim Maher, I'm Matt Dosen. And Tim, We are now going to talk about what happened down in the championship game at the Grand Park tournament, and of course it was a game against that pitted Lettuce and the My Chauffeur Bats, and boy, it was a barn burner.
It sure was, Matt. You know, we had some rain Saturday, so we had to jam everything into Sunday, but the entire crowd stuck around to watch just a great ball game between, of course, the perennial champion Lettuce and the My Chauffeur Limousine Bats, who have come on to be a top 5 team in our game today.
And of course, the other 3 divisions are always exciting, but it seems like when the major teams get together for that championship game, Tim, it just seems to have that special extra atmosphere.
Well, it does, Matt, and like you said, there's a few other teams like the RZA Rockers and Red Dog and the 45s, and they're all just, they wish they were at that title game, and only 2 can play, and I'll tell you what, the My Chauffeur Limousine Bats made the most of their situation.
All right, why don't we take a look and see what happened, what transpired in that championship game between the My Chauffeur Bats and Let Us Entertain You. As we can see the umpires and coaches getting together, you see Sal there getting some last-minute instruction from the umpires, and of course Joel Zimberhoff, Eddie Zollner listening to the umpire as well. Both teams getting ready in their huddles. Very intense game, and of course the Bats threatened early with singles from Johnny Eckhart and Brian Serber. Nice shot there past Bobby Lopez, but Gino Grande and Rick Holst failed to knock them out. And then in the second, John Simone led off with a double to left. And then, Timmy, the defensive play of the game, Scamoni is trying to challenge the arm of Lettuce's Timmy McManigal, but catcher John Westermeyer sticks it in his ear, literally. Steve Swanson singles wasted on a great play by Westermeyer there at home plate.
There's Jimmy Ekin-Four ringing him up.
See the fans watching intently, cheering for their favorite team here. Bobby Lopez, the fly ball to left. Lettuce can only muster a couple of harmless singles through 5 innings, and Egg Zarnik was a master on the mound, scattering 5 singles and a double over the first 5 innings of play. And things got interesting, Tim, for the Bats. With 2 outs in the 6th, Jason Groffman beats this high throw from Bobby Lopez at third, and then Eckhart again follows with his 3rd single of the game. Eck having a nice Grand Park tournament. And then when big Brian Serber hits the shot to deep short center and beats Davey Rule's throw, the Bats score the first run of the ball game. There you see the Bats fired up. Moving to the bottom of the 6th, Richie Barron of Lettuce leads off with a single. And then the throw gets away. Barron advances to 3rd.
Tough play for the Bats there on that throwing there.
Oh, yeah, and Matty Beyond pinch hits for Egg Zarnik, and he scores Barron with a sacrifice fly to center. And you see Bobby Russ Sr. there. He is very intense, working the umpires, I'm sure, right there for Lettuce. Bobby probably the best manager in the game of softball as we speak. Here, Mikey Lopez, number 3 hitter for Lettuce, drives a bullet. Shortstop Tony Tapano can't handle it. And then, of course, cleanup hitter Tommy Duddleson ropes one to center. Runners at 1st and 3rd for Lettuce as they mount a big threat. Bobby Lopez is walked, and then Westermeyer with a fly ball, a mammoth shot, and Lettuce brings home the championship trophy, winning 2-1. A great game by both teams, a pitcher's duel, defensive struggle, and the Bats put up a great fight, and of course the handshakes, high fives all around, Tim.
That was our good friend Anthony Stefano at shortstop. There's Egg Zarnik, my lookalike. Old Style Beer is Chicago's beer, as much a part of the city as the Dan Ryan, City Hall, and Grant Park. Pick up some Old Style and taste Chicago tonight.
Well, and Tim, it's now our pleasure now to introduce Sal Malazzo, who is the head coach of the My Chauffeur Bats.
And proprietor of My Chauffeur Limousine.
Not a bad gig,
no
not a bad
longer.
gig either.
We were acquired by Carey International. So now we're one of the Carey family companies.
Sal, welcome to the show, and it was a very eventful year for your softball team. Some real good wins this year. We saw there the 2-1 loss to Lettuce, but you beat some top teams this year. You beat the Puglises, you beat the Rockers, you beat the 45s. So it was a memorable year and maybe a watershed year for your team.
It's a stepping stone. We've got some room to grow. We've got to pick up some top players for next year, but I think we had a good year all around. We played solid. Need to pick up a little bit on defense, but other than that, we hit with anybody.
It's interesting you said that, Sal, about picking up a player or two, and that's what I wanted to ask you. With the young team that you have, you've got a couple of new faces that came over, a couple of guys from the Flash team of a year ago came over to help you out with some hitting, especially this year. Now with a young team, do you just hope that the team matures, or do you go out and try to get 2 or 3 players from some other team?
Well, personally, I'd like to see the team stick together. I mean, we've got some great leadership in Gino Grande, who ran the highlights team a few years back. And we've got some young blood, some new guys that have done great for us. I mean, Mark Holstein, who wasn't out there for us, is a big lefty, big hitter for us. He's a big part of our team, and we lost him after a month and a half this year. So,
Chemistry is a big part, Sal.
Sure.
As you know, the Jinx, Mike Cam, they've been together for 15 years. Dean Pritt and the Traffic have been together for a real long time.
Right.
And when teams merge, it's tough to get the chemistry together and bind. And that's why it's great that if the Bats can stay together for 3, 4, 5 years like you have been, I mean, that's why you're a top 5, top 10 team right now.
right. We had a lot of pickups this year. I think there were only 5 guys who stuck around from last year, 5 or 6 guys, and we picked up a lot of new ball players. So it was hard getting them. We had some veterans, we had some young kids, and it was hard getting the chemistry. I don't think we really gelled till the last month of the season. So hopefully if we keep everything together, we'll come out strong next
Sal,
year.
go around the horn for us and just mention the fellows that play.
Hopefully I won't miss anyone. In the outfield, we had Darren Diezik, Jason Groffman, Anthony Raffaelli, and Mike Caliendo were our 4 outfielders. Infield, we had Gino Grande, Steve Swanson, Anthony Tafano was at short. He played great defense all year. He was our best defensive ball player. Up the middle, we had Brian Serber. Second base, we had Johnny Eckert, probably the best hitter on the team this year. First base, we had Ricky Hulse. I pitched, and we had Tony Grande hitting. We had Tony Bellamini hitting. I hope I didn't miss anybody here. Mark Holstein, obviously, we lost early in the year.
Well, Sal, it was a very good year for the Bats, a great Grant Park tournament. Congratulations. Thanks for being on the show, and best of luck in the future.
No problem. It's great that you guys are doing this, and I hope it continues on.
All right, that's Sal Malazzo of the My Chauffeur Bats. We're going to take a short time out. When we come back, we're going to have the captain of the Leprechauns, Kevin Veselsky. He's going to be talking about the Grant Park A championship game. But first, some more highlights from our Hall of Fame Grant Park tournament. And welcome back to our Old Style Hall of Fame softball report. Along with the big guy, Tim Maher, I'm Matt Dosen. And Tim, it wasn't only the major division that had a terrific championship game. The A's boys did pretty well, too.
God bless all in his house. The Leprechauns are here, Matty. And Kevin Veselsky and his crew went through 48 teams. That's a big accomplishment.
And, of course, they got ready for this tournament by playing tough teams like Wallace Softball in that tough Cicero A-League. But we've got some footage of the championship game between the Leprechauns and the boys. And, of course, it was an epic battle, as it always is down at Grant Park. Both coaches getting ready for the coin toss.
Stevie Cuss on the call.
And this one kind of got out of hand early as the Leprechauns put a big 5 spot on the board in the second. Jimmy Berger lines a double down the left field line. And then Brian Thomas follows with a base hit. And then, of course, Bob Morrisseau sacrifice fly scores Berrigan. And the route is on. The Leprechauns had their hitting shoes on in this game early. Mark Zolkol then doubles to left center, driving in Thomas. There's a nice shot, beautiful background there.
In the gap.
Nice shot. Here comes Thomas rounding third. Leprechauns have some big boys. I know firsthand they took care of us a couple times this year. Nick Visvardis launches a rocket to right center and scores on this hit by Jerry.
Nicky had about 20 hits that day.
Jerry Veselsky, of course, that's Kevin's brother, with the hit there. And the boys got their lone run of the game in the second as Matt Osterman hits a towering drive to right center for a 3-bagger, but it just wasn't the boys' day.
Back.
You see Osterman rounding second, going into third base there. And then Danny Fernandez knocks in the run on this 4-3 putout, making it 5-1 in favor of the Leprechauns. In the sixth, the Leprechauns put the game away. 3 walks to Berrigan, Thomas, and Morrisseau. Loads the bases for Zolkol. It's his pop fly to shallow left center. And he's going to score 2. That ball just had eyes, and sometimes that happens in softball. Big guys take big swings, and the ball just happens to find a spot out there. Nothing you can do. Nicky Visvardis, who tripled earlier, drives the ball to right for a 3-run dinger, giving the Leprechauns a 11-1 lead. And that was all she wrote Final score of the game, the boys made it interesting late, but the final was 11-7. The Leprechauns come away with the championship trophy and in true 16-inch softball sportsmanship. Both teams shake hands. And, of course, the big guy with the check presentation.
Oh, they love to see me then.
Of course.
He's our best friend.
Kevin hasn't talked to me all year, but I got the check, and he's all over me.
Best friend.
And now
They're heading for the old style truck right about now.
And of course, Timmy, it's our pleasure to introduce Kevin Veselsky to the set. And Kevin, congratulations on the terrific victory down at Grant Park. Had to be a big thrill for your team.
One of our biggest thrills of the year. We had a rough year, but it came together towards the end, and that was our biggest thrill of the year, of course.
All kidding aside, though, that Cicero A-League is a very competitive league. You've got teams like the Crush, the Dog Pound, Color of Success, California Gold, the aforementioned Wallace softball team. But it kind of does get you ready for the bigger tournaments later in the year.
You can't duck anyone or can't hang from anyone in that league. You got to play every night.
Well, Phil Besler and Johnny Schuler, of course, Clyde Park, the A-League has been the best A-League in the Chicagoland area, and in my opinion, for years. And Kevin, I know you're from the neighborhood, and
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of your guys are in the area also, and it's got to be convenient to play there versus going to Mount Prospect or Blue Island for you guys.
That's what we prefer, and with the competition, it only enhances it in the prize money. The three reasons.
Why don't we talk about some of the guys that had good tournaments down at Grant Park? Name some of the fellas that helped you guys out.
Our veteran, we have two veterans we call our crafty veterans of our team. One's Nicky Visvardis. He's been around a long time playing with the Gamblers.
Yeah, but he don't
for
have
a
a
lot of
car.
years.
He's on a bike. Did he drive his bike to Grant Park?
Yes,
Come
he
on.
did.
Come
Easy
on, Nick.
parking. And he shows up 5 minutes before the game like he does for me so often. And Jerry Veselsky, they both had very good turns, Nick and Jerry. And Bobby Morso, he's our catcher, extra hitter, plays some first, plays some third. He think he made 2 or 3 outs in 2 days, the 5 games we played. So they had an outstanding tournament. Our first baseman, Tank, Jimmy Berrigan, we call him Tank. He's a newer addition to our club. Has known the guys for many years, but we just picked him up. And of course, one of my best friends and our shortstop, Brian Thomas, defensively, he's there with everybody. Anybody out there, he's with them.
Well, Kevin, to have a great team, it takes a good sponsor, and I know you got a good one.
Yes, a friend of mine from high school named Mike Pizzeri from Zara Trucking. He came up for me big late in the year when I needed him and took care of me. Zara Trucking in North Lake, Illinois.
Plans to stay together next year, or haven't you guys talked about that yet?
We're staying together, and we're
He's on the
looking
waiver
to-
wire. He's calling guys already. Are you kidding me?
Typical softball player, right?
I've made 2 or 3 very good acquisitions and got my finger pointed on one more, and we're going to stay together. We're keeping the core together, 12 or 13 guys. and
We're going to
gonna
get you in
run
Berwyn, and while I mentioned Berwyn, of course, we want to thank our good people, Tony Martinucci from Berwyn and Chief Marzullo, Mayor Shaughnessy. Next year they're getting lights there, and
Thankfully.
it might be a real good Monday, Wednesday league there in Berwyn.
Hopefully.
Home of the Hall of Fame, by the way, to tournaments this year, which you were in and did quite well in.
Yes, we had some big victories. Grant Park was our biggest victory, but we also beat the 45s. While we play everyone and don't duck anyone, that was probably our major accomplishment of the year because we didn't have it. Supposedly had a chance, and we came out and beat them by 6-7 runs. So,
Well, it's amazing to me that teams find out that they're playing the good teams and just happen to back out of tournaments. And then, of course, you've got teams that just don't get into tournaments when the big boys are in there. But I always felt as a young softball player, I always wanted to play against the best competition, no matter if I get my teeth handed to me or not.
Take your
The only
lumps
way-
early,
It's the only
right?
way to get better.
You're right.
you got to play. You got to come out there. If you duck them, all you're going to do is be called a chicken. Who cares? Just go play. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like everyone else.
And it's real easy to go to these park leagues and play against teams that are inferior competition, and you win the games 25-2. Everybody goes 5 for 5, and everybody thinks that they're great. And if that's the level of softball you want to play, that's
Then you
fine.
play it.
But if you want to continue to get better and play against the top competition, you can't duck the top teams.
And Old Style also wants to thank the Leprechauns, Matty, because Kevin Veselsky and his crew were first team all beer drinking team. I want to tell you that at
Nice.
the tournaments. So we're grateful
And that's
for that.
very important. in
Appreciate
this
that.
sport.
Very important, very important.
Well, Kevin, again, congratulations. Thanks for being on the program. Want to wish you the best of luck next year out in Cicero, just not against Wallace.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate everything Timmy does, and I always try to support him as much as we can.
All right, thanks to Kevin Veselsky, and of course, the ladies are going to be taking center stage.
Can't
Tim.
wait. Let's go.
As
Get
we
them
come
going.
back, we're going
Chop,
to have
chop.
Maria Federici and Rosie Geraci from the Brat Pack, the champions of our women's division, down at our Hall of Fame Grant Park tournament. Stay tuned. Here's more action from Grant Park. And we're back with the Old Style Hall of Fame softball report, along with the big guy, Tim Maher. I'm Matt Dosen. And Tim, what a great battle we had down in the Grant Park tournament with the ladies, the Badeos and the Brat Pack squaring off in the championship game.
We got them here, and to brighten up our set, we want to appreciate and thank Maria Federici and Rosie Geraci. By the way, a future Hall of Famer, this lady to my far left, Rosie, and you're going to see some highlights of her in action tonight. But it's great to have them here, and to see the women play, Matt, as competitive as the guys, was really great to see down at Grant Park.
Let's get right to it. The ladies' championship was the closest game of the day. The Brat Pack was seeking to unseat perennial power, the Badeos. With no score in the top of the fifth, Carla De Soto gets on, and her pinch runner is forced at second. Look at that hustle by Kim Gattulo. Next batter, Jen Tweeter's ball is mishandled in left, putting runners on first and second. Setting up the key play of the game with 2 outs, and Lupi Velez at the plate, a huge hit to score Kim Gattulo with the game's only run. The Badeos got something going in their half of the sixth. Teresa Bamalkis singles sharply to center field. After a routine fly to center off the bat of Kim Panazzo, up steps Rhonda Bolden, and the key defensive play of the game, Rose Geraci diving to her left. Unbelievable play by the shortstop. Speaking of defense, how about the Badeos and this pitcher to first to third, double play in the seventh. But the Brat Pack is too tough today, ending the Badeos' long reign as champions with a 1-0 victory and a great defensive struggle between 2 great teams. And of course, there's Big Tim Maher, the big guy, the check to the winners.
Johnny Leone there, the coach, did a great job with the championship check and go out buy the girls some Old Style.
He's happy.
He's a happy man right there. Old Style beer is Chicago's beer, as much a part of the city as the Dan Ryan City Hall in Grant Park. Pick up some Old Style and taste Chicago tonight.
And Tim, it is our pleasure right now to introduce a couple of the members of the championship team, Maria Federici and, of course, Rosie Geraci, who made that great play. We saw it down at Grant Park. And ladies, congratulations. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tim, I know you've been looking forward to this segment.
You betcha. You know, meeting these ladies and watching them play, and I'm not just speaking for myself, but all the major teams, the A teams, they all stuck around to watch the ladies in the championship game. And Rosie Geraci was kind enough to bring the bracket. There were some great teams down there, Matt, along with, like you mentioned, the Badeos, the Blaze. I mean, these guys are outfitted and look sharp and are classy teams.
The Diamond Girls.
The Diamond Girls and the Breakaways. Chaos. TLC. It was. It's a small group, but the group is growing. And Maria, you had mentioned earlier that you'd like to see an A division league for women, and maybe we can bring that about next year.
Oh yeah, I think it's a necessity at this point. I think women in general, they want to get together, they want to play ball, you know. And right now it's so split that everyone's around the city in different leagues, and they're winning their leagues, but they're walkthroughs, you know. And you don't want that. I know most teams don't want that. They don't want to walk out there with 9 and still win, you know.
Well, you go around to some of the city and suburban parks, and of course you see 12-inch being played by the ladies. Not much 16-inch going around, but it's nice to see that 16-inch still is alive in some pockets of the city. Talk about the area of Chicago that you played out of.
We play in 2 different leagues. One of them would be Oak Lawn on Monday nights, and we ended up at
Speaking
JC's.
of Oak Lawn, we went to TC Sports Pub, my good buddy Vince O'Grady, 9700 South Cicero, and I'll tell you, when the Brat Pack came back, it was just like, you know, all the guys going back to their local bar and having fun, watching the sports. TC's Pub has 35 big screens there, so and the beer was flowing. So
a lot of Old Style being drunk.
You bet you believe it. And Vince O'Grady is a great supporter of 16-inch softball at TC's Pub, and we're thankful for his support. But the Brat Pack went back there and stayed there till, we don't want to say how late, but everyone had a good time.
I was home early. And we play out of Normandy Park also.
Now, Rosie, how long have you been playing? I mean, you're one of the legends in the game, a bona fide, hands-down Hall of Famer when you retire.
Thank you.
And just tell everybody how long you've been playing our great game.
Well, I'm 36 now, and I've been playing since I was about 9, so almost my whole life. I've been playing 16-inch softball. And I just love the game.
You probably got started like a lot of players that have been playing the game for a while. You probably played in grammar school and then in the Park District, but now, unfortunately, the game doesn't seem to be played that often on those levels.
Correct. We actually started in 7th and 8th grade. That was what we played. We didn't play 12-inch. Our 7th, 8th, and 8th grade was 16-inch softball against the other 7th and 8th graders. So
Well, it's great to see, again, Matt, women play. And the next time you can see the Brat Pack, they'll be appearing live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes, we will.
March 17th, they're booked at the Sahara, and we'll be playing at Lorenzi Park for our Las Vegas trip. We're bringing 16-inch softball to Las Vegas. We have 8 men's teams and right now 4 women's teams. We're looking for a few more, but that's going to be an exciting trip.
I think so too. I think you should bring 16 softball everywhere. Trip to Australia.
We're trying.
We've got about 15 seconds. Get as many of your players
Yeah, mention some of your...
in 15 seconds.
The players that were on the field for the championship game were Kim Gattulo at third base, Rosie Geraci, of course, at shortstop, Becky Kazubski at short center, Lupi Velez at second base, Carla DeSoto at first base, Laura Core pitching, Christine Mernicki catching, Jean Tripham in left field, Amy Trench in center field, Becky Vanilli in right field. We have a ton of other players that were participants in this also, like Jen Tweeter, great DH, Babe Sanfilippo, Doreen Heater, Julie Arcieri, myself, Maria Federici, Liz Vanelli, Jen McElligott, Chrissy Sarnowski, Colette Rivera, Carmen Sandoval, Christine Smith, Laura Wilson, Heather Tang, and Linda Grishel.
How about sponsors?
I'd like to thank our coach, Johnny Leone, also for coaching us. And Tea Time is our sponsor, and Bridgeport Inn is our 2 sponsors. So I'd like to thank them also for their support.
What a great job the Brat Pack did, and what a great representative for women's softball.
Congratulations once again to the Brat Pack. It was a great tournament. Thanks for joining us, and good luck again next year.
Thank you.
We loved it. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, stay tuned. We are coming back with more of the Old Style Hall of Fame softball report, and we're going to have Debbie Cornacchia from Synergy and Tony Palozzalo from MFRI. The corporate division is up next on the Old Style Hall of Fame softball report. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Old Style Hall of Fame softball report. I'm Matt Dosen, along with my partner, the big guy, Tim Maher. And Tim, now we're going to talk about the co-rec and the corporate division. Some great softball being played on those levels as well.
Having some fun now, Matt. Absolutely. Joining us tonight is Debbie Cornacchia from the Whatever For Synergy team, who played the Juicers tough. We want to mention the Juicers and Tommy Balick, who have won this Grant Park Classic division for 6 years in a row. Tommy unfortunately threw out his back, couldn't be here.
He's playing somewhere. Who you kidding?
You better believe it. But Debbie Cornacchia is here, and they took the Juicers farther than any other co-rec team ever has to 8 innings and lost by a run. It was unbelievable. And Tony's here from MFRI, who beat Les Messenger, a Hall of Famer from the Chicago Merck Exchange, and we're really happy to have him here.
All right, we do have some highlights from the co-rec division. Of course, Tim mentioned that the Juicers and Synergy were off in an epic battle, and of course the ever popular co-rec championship featured the Juicers versus Synergy, and they're getting ready to do battle there. Juicers got off to a quick start, and this base hit by the great Keith Filkins, also of Pugliese. And you'll notice the first baseman wear gloves in the co-rec division. It helps the throw.
Who's that? There's Debbie.
From the men.
There you go.
Debbie needs a glove though. She can do without it. 2 walks, load the bases for Mike Witkowitz. He knocks in 2 with this shot.
Keith, what's with the hat?
And Colleen Casiani shoots a long single to left.
Oh, almost got it.
Just
Richie Cornacchia out there. Another biscuit for breakfast. He'd have had that ball.
And then Mike Schifano follows up with a single to put the Juicers up 3-zip in the first. Juicers get off to a fast start like they normally do. Synergy comes out swinging with singles from Brian Kalaga. And then Rich
There's Rico Suave right there.
He played
with a gapper.
Kalaga. And Synergy's on the board. Lulu Kalaga, liner that is too hot to handle. And here's my guy, Johnny Osisco. Gets a hit, gets Synergy back to within 1. After 1, it was 3-2 Juicers.
There's Richie.
Bottom of the second, Synergy's Mark Kalaga ties the game up with this blast to right center. Big ball there.
And he could. Go.
Flying around the bases.
Wait.
Here he comes. And in without a play. Top of the 6th, and the Juicers trailing 4-3. The wheels start to come off for Synergy. Unfortunately, this error by Johnny O. Come on, Johnny O. And then Denny Lawler gets a hit, scores Garrett Hampton.
Then he take the piano off your back,
Bottom of the 6th, 2 outs and 2 strikes on Lulu. Lulu over Sammy Sosa, double to left, and high fives all around here. Here comes big trouble. Johnny Osisco. That ball's headed for Lakeshore Drive.
Oh.
Johnny O.
We're rocking Tommy Balick for a while.
Wallace could have used some more of that. Johnny O with some sore ribs there. You see him kind of favoring. He got hurt earlier in the year. Some sore ribs. He had a bad thumb. Tough year, but Johnny O comes through with the big shot there. High fives all around. And Georgie Kodadek gets a hit in the top of the 7th. And then Kim Mione. She comes through with a nice shot there into left field.
Frankie's wife. Oh.
And then the
There's
king
the-
of Korek, Tommy
guy with
Bailey.
the bad back.
With the
Tommy
bad back,
Bailey.
he's playing somewhere in the park. Sends the game into extra innings with a clutch shot to right field. Top of the 8th, Kathy Apostolovic.
Look at this play. Oh.
Tough play behind third, takes second on the air. And then Rose Geraci, she pinch runs.
Look at the
Talk
Rosie
to
out there.
Rosie.
She's everywhere, that Rosie.
Then she scores, and this
Danny.
shot from Denny Lawler, also with
Oh.
the jinx. Mishandled drive left. Tough play, though. Tough play out there. Rosie scores, and then Mike Witkowitz knocks in Lawler. Juicers make it 8-6. And that, Tim, proved to be enough, as Brian Kalaga, we'll see here, he grounds out. Nice play at short center. And the Juicers make it 7 in a row at Grand Park.
Break up the Juicers.
And of course, Timmy doing what he does best, handing out money to the winners.
Yeah, you better believe it. Where you always get more money. You got to put me on one of them commercials. There you go.
Timmy, the mayor of Grand Park, and Tommy Bailey put it right in his pocket.
Old Style Beer is Chicago's beer. As much a part of the city as the Dan Ryan, City Hall, and Grand Park. Pick up some Old Style and taste Chicago tonight.
All right, some great highlights from the Grand Park Co-Rec Division, and Debbie and Tony now join us on the set. Congratulations to both, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Debbie, let me go to you first of all. The Juicers, 6-time champions of the Co-Rec, and you gave it all you could, 8 innings, so you come up a little short. You had some great efforts from a lot of people, and if you could, just mention a few of their names for us tonight.
I was playing first base, as you saw on the air. Lulu Kalaga was at second, Sharon Hilatix at short center, Johnny Osisko played shortstop, Carol Berger at third base, Cindy Yukovic pitching, Cindy Priscelli catching, Richie Cornacchia played left field for a while. He had to leave for another game, and Paul Kalaga came in. Brian Kalaga in center, Mark Kalaga in right. And our bench and extra hitters were Tina Riedel, Jen Wallace, Jeff Belfus, Peter White, and Rick Klepaz.
And we have to talk about your fine sponsors, because without a sponsor, we're not playing.
We played for Synergy and Whatever For. They sponsored us there and a couple other tournaments. We were really a put-together team. A few of us had played together before, but this was our first tournament, all of us together. We had a couple tough games before that, but
Now, the
couldn't
Co-Rec
come through.
division, is there many leagues around for the Co-Rec, or is this just basically a tournament type thing where the guys and the girls get together and team up? Seems like a lot of fun. A lot of husbands, wife, boyfriend, girlfriends type of thing.
Well, sometimes that can run you into trouble too, but not personally. But there's a few leagues around. I play at Wentworth during the year, and that's a pretty competitive league. Some co-ed leagues are not very competitive. Some are real good. So it's becoming more popular.
Man, wouldn't you know, her husband, Richie Cornacchia, who played left field for the Synergy team on the Co-Rec, of course, plays with the RZA Rockers and was playing right field. And, 2 innings later, he collides with Keith Stout, and he rips up his knee, and he's done for the year.
Well, that's softball. You play with all your heart, and you don't worry about injuries. Unfortunately, sometimes they happen. But it's a great tournament. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Debbie. We're going to move on over to Tony, MFRI. You guys take the corporate division championship.
Corporate, all the money.
Let's talk about your team. Talk about your sponsor as well.
MFRI is a publicly traded company. I work for the Permapipe division. We're an environmental company. We clean the air, we clean the water, just making a better neighborhood for the kids. The team, we played a lot together, and then we didn't play a lot together. It's a company team where we have a lot of different ball players. We have a lot of different people from different parts of the company.
Tony, do you play in a league as a corporate team?
Yeah, Niles. But most of our ball players play out in Schaumburg, in the A division in Schaumburg. And the ball players that I play with, we all work hard.
Mention a few of the guys who come up big for you.
Well, who came up big for us in the championship game was Jimmy Capel. He had a big 2-out triple that scored the lead runs. In the tournament, Vito Amato, who plays for Traffic, played our left field, made a tremendous catch the game before to get us into the championship game. To get us to start it, this guy, Bobby Maltis, played a great catcher, which is a key position in 16-inch softball. Kelly Stott at short center. Joe Schwab, who's probably, I've seen a lot of softball in my life, and this guy's probably one of the best shortstops I've ever seen. Sean McCarthy at second base played great. We had a great DH, Steve Osgowitz. Wanted to play more at second base, but he was a great hook for us. Jason Zabala, the first baseman, played a great game.
We also like to mention MFRI. You can watch them. They'll be appearing at Las Vegas at the Sahara with us. You're coming out in March.
Yes, we're coming out. I got commitments from all the ball players. If I can keep them out of the gambling casinos, it'll be fine. But we're going to do a lot of horseback riding at the Mustang Ranch.
Tony, Debbie, congratulations. Thanks for being on the show, and best of luck in the future.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take a short time out. When we come back, the Class A national champions, the Lemonheads, are up next.
The Lemonheads.
Style Hall of Fame softball report. Stay tuned. And we're back with the Old Style Hall of Fame softball report. I'm Matt Dosen along with the big guy, Tim Maher.
Matty, the Lemonheads are in the house, and we're happy to have the captain of the 1999 Class A national champion Lemonheads, Jimmy Grasz, and Jimmy brought along with him the tournament MVP, Rich Kaczmarski. Jimmy, congratulations on winning the 1999 Nationals. You've been around a long time. You've been a great player, and I know this is real special for you and your ball club.
It means a lot, especially because we did it with a bunch of neighborhood guys. We've been playing together. We started out the right way, playing in the park leagues and eventually getting better and better. Ended up in the Classic League, and in the last couple of years in the Nationals got some experience. And this year we had a weekend and played flawless defense.
Matty, the Lemonheads are one of those teams that Kevin Veselsky was talking about earlier from the Leprechauns, that they're not afraid to play the big guys. They play in all the good leagues and get in all the good tournaments. And through that hard work, it paid off, beating a lot of good teams. I mean, you had the Traffic down there, and the Crush, and the Rebels, the Trojans, the March, the Raiders. That one bracket was stacked, and there were really not a lot of gimmies in the whole tournament.
No, well, we got a little help. The Rebels and Crush, they met each other early, and that was big for the tournament. That set the bottom bracket up.
Now going to play the Nationals, of course, we've got to put the gloves on, unfortunately, still in 16-inch softball. All year long, we play without the gloves. Maybe one or two tournaments we play with the gloves. Talk about the difference and adjustments that your team had to make.
Well, personally, I don't like playing with the gloves, but
who does? Who does?
Yeah,
Who does?
Attaboy.
Having them, it's obviously an advantage, and it helped us out, I should say, in the tournament. We made a lot of, diving catches in the outfield and in the infield. But the main thing is what we did was we got some timely hitting.
From the guy on your left, for one, Rich Kaczmarski. Let's go to you. Tournament MVP. I mean, you have to play a great ball game every game to be a tournament MVP. And tell us about the weekend you had.
Well, it was just an average weekend, having fun, hitting the ball, playing defense. Nothing I try. I just do what I can to help the team win. And fortunately, we got hot right at the right time, and we rolled with it.
It's nice when you get into a big tournament, when you get that first at bat, you get it over with, you get a hit, you're feeling good about yourself, and just seems to culminate from that.
Yeah, I was hurt most of the year, so I didn't get a chance to play that much, and he threw me in leadoff right away, and I was like, oh, pressure's on. Fortunately, I got a hit, and
you set the table. Jimmy, tell us about your ball club, and you had a lot of guys come up big for you. Obviously, to win Nationals, it's a team effort, and I'm sure you used everybody, including all your bench.
Oh, all 15 guys, and the guy who said it best was Mickey Balestri, saying that you can't win this thing with 10, 11 guys. You need 15, 18 guys. Mm-hmm. And this year we did. We came in with 15 guys, and every one of them was a big part.
Give us some names.
The first team, we had some first-team All-Americans that just played great. Obviously can't say enough about Richie, MVP, and Sean Burke, our first baseman, and Scotty Kress, our catcher, and EH. Charlie Otto played unbelievable at short center, and our shortstop, Joel Johnston, didn't make an air the whole tournament.
Charlie Otto is as tough. He's a steady ball player, and again, the Lemonheads, you've been around for a lot of years, and you beat a tough Dean Pritz Traffic team in the finals.
That's what made it even nicer. It's a neighborhood rivalry. I went to high school with a bunch of them guys, and to meet up in the finals like that was special.
Now you got a great sponsor, Jimmy. We want to thank them, of course, for all their help.
We couldn't do it without the Lemonheads, Ferrara Pan Candy, that LJ Baffardi and Sal Ferrara really helped us out a lot this year, and getting it to this level, you need that corporate sponsorship to go play these weekend tournaments and buy the uniforms.
Matt, we also would like to acknowledge Dean Pritt and the Traffic, and Teddy Sherman and the Raiders for finishing third, and Mike Honan and the Survivors, they finished fourth. And as everybody knows, and in our softball community, by finishing in the top four, you're now a major team. So next year you have to go to the men's major nationals. So again, maybe you want to pick up a couple more guys, gear up a little more, because next year you and the other three teams you mentioned are major.
We'll be playing against the big boys every game next year, and we definitely need to pick up a few more guys to compete on a daily basis out there with them.
Well, Jimmy, Richie, congratulations once again. A great tournament. I know the feeling. I've been there before. Class A Nationals. It's a terrific stepping stone to move up and start playing now with the big boys. You have to, and I'm sure you'll enjoy. Congratulations. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
We're going to take our final timeout. When we come back, the big boys are up next in the house. Pugliese, the major champion from Marshalltown, Iowa. They're coming up next. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Old Style Hall of Fame Softball Report. I'm Matt Dosen, along with the big guy, Tim Maher.
That's right, Matt. I want to congratulate a few teams that did well and won championships in other leagues this year. From Blue Island, the men from Uncle. I want to congratulate Danny Cerniak and Pete Raines, and of course Uncle Pete Cerniak, the best sponsor, a Hall of Famer. Also from the Clyde Park League, Mickey Velestri in the Crush, and Brian Toomey in the Dog Pound also was right there. The Pro League, Bob Rasha and the 45s did tremendous. I want to also commend my good buddy and my partner on the radio side, Lane Neiman, and the RZA Rockers, who has always had a great year. And we miss you here today, Lane. And also our champion of the Hall of Fame tournaments, the Hawthorne Racecourse Hall of Fame tournaments, I might add. Compliments to our good buddy Howie Fagan. Wally Peck and the Red Dogs, they were repeat champions, and they won it again this year.
He's out recruiting in some of the local softball.
Right. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, our Hall of Fame dinner is November 13th, right here at beautiful Hawthorne Racecourse in the beautiful Gold Cup Room. And I'd like to introduce and read out our 1999 class, our inductees. From the Pioneer era, we have Ken Spears, Pete Monaco, Pete Biondi, Sal Mussolini, and Eugene Leo. From the 1950 to 63 era, we have Jerry Dowling, Joe Hutmaker, Wally Mader, and Bobby Perna. From the 64 to 79 era, we have John Hornacek, Jerry Kelleher, Frank Lentine, Jerry Schmidt, and Clyde Sterry. From the 1980 to 96 era, we have Randy Stretch Lee, Bobby McClellan, and Ron Zeman. In our women's category, Chick Lillis gets in, as does Gail Bucky Postello. Our manager is Ron Brass Sr., umpires Kenny Hansen, and organizers Ed Kelly. That's November 13th at Hawthorne Racecourse, and we're expecting 700-800 people. Now, speaking of the big guys, we've got them here with us today. Joining us now are the 1999 men's major ASA national champions. To my left, Captain Jeff Berger, Coach Ron Kubiki, and manager Stan Patek. Gentlemen, welcome to the show, and congratulations on winning the major nationals this year.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Go
ahead, Matt.
Jeff, you guys had a great year. Big Forest Park championship. Seemed like after that, though, you guys went into a little bit of a lull. You didn't play very good softball for a couple of weeks leading up into the Nationals, but then you guys turned it around in a weekend's time.
Well, we were, all year long, we knew we had the team, we knew we had the players. We just had to put it all together and get guys on the same page. When Forest Park came along, we found that other gear we needed to find and handed out a couple beatings. And ever since then, you know,
there was a double dip. Forest Park, no glove nationals, and unfortunately with the gloves, the men's major nationals, but they'll take it and run.
Absolutely. It was a wonderful year. As you guys know, I'm kind of the rookie here, and you know, we got real great leadership on this team, and it was an incredible experience for me. Loved it. The guys played great, and it was quite an experience.
Ronnie Kubicki, of course, who runs Hoskins Park, one of the sites of our pro league, and probably one of the best diamonds in all of softball. Ronnie, you've been around a long time. You've been on many national championship teams, and I know this year was as special as all the rest of them.
Well, everyone's special, Tim, and it's what makes us even special too is the team comes together, they play together, and when you see that and they finish up the weekend, and we kind of emphasize that on the very first night of the Nationals in Marshalltown. We tell everybody, you know, it's going to take everybody here to win this thing, and everybody played their roles and played it well, and that's how you come out on top.
Stan, mention some of the players and your MVPs. Okay. I know you used the whole bench that weekend.
When we were thrown into the losers bracket in the semifinals by losing to the 45s, we discussed, the three of us, as you know, if we're going to do this, we got to use everybody, and we did. We had Jimmy Matlock in left field, Frankie Mione in center, Jimmy McCarthy in right, Keith Filkins, who was a co-MVP at third base, the Honorable Jeff Berger at shortstop, Marty Dosen, know that name, at short center. He was ably assisted by Carl Maniscalco, who came out at the end of the year to help us out. Real great talent and experience there. Joey Labadessa, as they call him in Forest Park, Joey the Legend. And we had Ed Chibi at first base, along with Jeff Thompson, who joined us for the state and national tournament. John Wolnick behind the plate, Big Jono, and our co-MVP, Dave Bischoff on the hill. Our subs were Davey Bradle, did a great job. Dave Singer was our extra hitter. And who else do we have today? Did I forget anybody? That's about it.
I think it's double digits now for Dave Bischoff. Isn't it national champions?
He might be about 7, maybe
I think
9
it's
or
ninth.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
It's his
He's up there. Fantastic. He was. I'm not sure we would have won without Dave. He played fantastic.
In about 30 seconds, Jeff. When you've got so many players that have had so much success at the level that you guys play at, you know, egos sometimes get in the way. It's a long season. How do you keep everybody together? Because sometimes, you know, things can kind of get crazy.
I pray. I just pray they're going to come to the park. And if they come ready to play, I'm telling you, nobody can beat this team. If they don't come ready to play, they'll beat themselves. And that's what I told them all year. But thanks, I couldn't have done it without these two guys. They kept the inmates in the asylum for me. And come out
National
on top.
champions, 2 to beat Lettuce. Great job by Pugliese.
Well, now will Pugliese be around next year to defend the title?
Tune in tomorrow.
Yeah, you have to watch the next show for that.
Well, guys, again, congratulations. I know it's a big thrill to win that major nationals, and I know my brother couldn't stop talking about it, so it had to be a wonderful time. And best of luck next year, and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
We'll see you at the Hall of Fame dinner, by the way, November 13th.
I'm there.
Absolutely.
I got to get a front row table this time.
There you go,
though?
absolutely.
I'm important now.
Valet park and everything, too.
Well, Tim, I think we are out of time. It was a great show. Went by quickly. Our special thanks to all our guests. And, of course, a special thanks to you. You're a great organizer. You did a wonderful job with the Hall of Fame tournaments this year. Without you, softball would just be a microcosm of what it really is. You do a great job getting the word out, and I want to thank you for all the great things you do for softball.
I just love this game, Matt, and thanks for those kind words.
All right, and thank you very much for watching our O-Style Hall of Fame softball report. Remember, George Bliss, the Honorable George Bliss, always says, watch 16 in softball. It's the greatest game in America. Good night, everybody.